Hello! Hi everyone! It is good to be with you. It's Sunday night and I'm Hannah.
And I'm Johnny.
And we are here
And it's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock. So we are here for.
Church for people who don't go to church.
Great. It's good to be with you. Hope you're all doing okay. My name's Hannah. I'm the vicar in Goole, and Johnny is my husband and also works on team. And because we can't get to church at the moment, we are bringing church to you. And although you may not realise that you are at church, actually you are. It's church, perhaps not as you know it, but the whole point of church is that you meet together and that you gather with people and you think about God and you worship God, and that's what we're trying to do on Sunday nights. So you're so welcome.
Do say hello, do comment, do like it as well. If you really like it, then do share it. It'd be really helpful just for other people to see it as well. So hit the share button beside the comment.
Brilliant. So every week on Sunday night at 8, we have a little starter question, and it's an opportunity for you to share your stories about a particular thing. So often we have some funny stories. Last week we had, have you ever been lost?
Yes.
I think that's what we had last week. We've had some really funny responses a few weeks for a few different topics, but tonight's topic or question is, have you ever, now we really want you to delve in your minds and think of funny stories, have you ever experienced a case of mistaken identity? Have you ever either had you being mistaken for someone else, or you mistaking someone for someone else? And Johnny, you had one earlier on that we were talking about them.
Yeah, I think I remember once sort of like seeing someone at a distance and sort of waving, and then slowly getting closer and realizing I do not know that person, but we're still walking towards each other, and so it was more of a
really awkward.
as we kind of walked by. It was fun.
Really
a really
awkward.
kind of humbling moment.
I've just thought of one. I was walking outside church about a few months ago, and some guys in a van kind of stopped and paused and then reversed back and looked at me, and they were like, "Oh, I think we know you. Are you, Joanne from somewhere or other?" And I was like, "No, I'm Hannah. I'm the vicar." And they were like, "Oh, are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really am.
Are you sure
that I am?"
Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite funny. They were convinced that I was Joanne from somewhere else or something. Anyway, should we say hi to some people?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
Brilliant. Let's go back. Okay, let's say hello. We're going to say hi to Frankie. Good to have you with us, Frankie.
Hello to Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Hope you're doing well. Got to say hello to my dad. Good to be with you too, Dad.
Anne's probably there as well.
Anne's probably there too.
Hi to Claire.
Hi to Claire. Good to see you, Claire. Kyle, what is this show about? I love it. It's a great question. Kyle, you might not realise it, but you are at church. This is a church thing. It's very informal. We call it Sunday night at 8, and you are so welcome to be part of what we're doing this evening. Well, do be thinking about your stories of mistaken identity, and do share them in the comments, and we'll read them out a little bit later. But before we do that, Johnny is going to sing for us.
Just try not to bang the guitar on the way around.
Yeah,
Let's not do that.
Probably don't do that. So I'm going to kind of zoom over. Oh, look, before you play, let's say hi to Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Liz.
Good to see you. Here we are. I'm going to zoom around to Johnny.
Wow.
There we go.
Come break the chains, Lord, of oppression and despair. Set the prisoners free. Come move the mountains and loose the righteousness, like a never-failing stream. Let justice roll like a river, righteousness, like a never-failing stream, like a never-failing stream. We want your heart, God, for the hungry and the lost. Stir it up in us. If we act justly and walk with mercy all our days, we will bless your name. Pour out your spirit, let it bring healing. Pour out your spirit now. Let justice roll like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. Let justice roll like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream, like a never-failing stream. Now let your kingdom come through us. God, let your kingdom come through us. God, let your kingdom come through us. God, let your kingdom come through us. Let justice roll like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. Let justice roll like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream, like a never-failing stream, like a never-failing stream, like a never-failing stream.
Woo! Well, while Johnny's been playing, we've almost got a weather forecast, which is really wonderful.
Great, always helpful.
Yeah, let's just go down and say hi to a few more people, and then we're going to catch up on the weather forecast.
Oh, so you say hi to Helen.
Hi to Helen, and hi to Sue, and hi again to Frankie. And Amanda, really good to see you. And you've been to Goole today, which is where the weather forecast has sparked off. So, because you've been to Goole, everyone is wanting to let everyone else know that the weather in Goole today is beautiful, sunny,
Very nice.
blue sky, no clouds. It's been gorgeous, hasn't it? Anyone else been out in their garden? We've been out in bit in the garden. Oh, it's lovely, lovely. So do be also thinking about your stories of mistaken identity. We know there's some out there, Shay, or embarrassing stories.
Bound to be some in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be some, haven't there?
Should we do some notices?
Let's do some
notices.
some
It's
notices.
always good to do notices.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, normally we meet together on a Sunday inside the church building, and that's where we take up an offering normally for services. At the moment, we're not able to do that. So we thought actually we'll make it easy for people to give. So if you want to give to the life and the community of the church, you can go to our website. I want to see if this link I was playing earlier. Just let's see if this works.
Oh, Johnny's just clicked a thing.
I've clicked the thing, and maybe a link comes up. It says stjohnschool.org.uk/giving. That's if you'd like to give. There's no pressure to give. We don't take, we don't follow and see who's giving.
No, we don't
Not
take a
that kind of
register.
virus. So, yeah, if you'd like to give, that's how you do it.
Yep.
/giving.
Yeah. That's the awkward money bit out the way.
Yeah, great. That's done.
Yeah. By the way, I try my hardest not to know what anyone gives because I really don't want to get involved with all the money stuff. We do want to announce something this evening, and that is that we are having a couple called Joshua and Helen with their 2 kids moving to Goole, and they're going to become part of our church family, and Joshua is going to be the curate. And a curate is a technical Church of England kind of word for trainee vicar. So it's a vicar in the last stages of training before they go on and lead a church. So we're really thrilled to welcome Joshua and Helen to Goole, and you might want to write a little welcome in the comments for them, because if they're not watching now, they'll probably be watching a bit later. So do say hi and say welcome to Goole if you'd like to in the comments, because they'll love to hear that.
You can see a picture of them on our Facebook page as well, just in case you're kind of wondering, will they be dodgy? Well, check for yourself. See,
they're not dodgy. They've got new haircuts and everything. They're looking great.
Yeah.
Now we've got a giveaway as well. This is the Gospel of John. So John's Gospel. It's I have to go like that and hold it up so that you can see it, because we're right. Otherwise, it's just a white thing.
It might work if you go really close.
Yeah, it might do. And this is one of Johnny's CDs. So if you would like the 2 together free.
Ooh.
Then just write in the comments Morning Star, which is the name of the CD, and we will get those to you. If you wrote those in last week and you haven't received yours yet, we haven't forgotten. We'll get them out to you this week.
There's a couple of people, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who haven't had them yet, but we will get them out to you this week. So Morning Star for your free giveaway this week.
Great, and if you'd like to kind of know more about the church and what we're getting up to and what we're doing, we do have an email that you can sign up to. Just a weekly kind of email, gives you notices, tells you what's going on and what we're up to. Also, we do a daily reflection as well on the Bible. If you're kind of up for kind of having like a 2-minute read every single day, do let us know and we'll add you to the list.
Yeah, we don't do weather forecast though.
Yeah.
So if you want a weather forecast, then friend one of the people down the side who has given you today's weather forecast, and they'll probably let you know every day what the weather is like in Goole. Good. Well, we're going to read a little bit from the Bible now, and we're reading lots of stories about Jesus in the book of John. John was one of the eyewitness people. He was an eyewitness. He's one of Jesus' eyewitnesses.
It is an eyewitness account. You were right.
He wrote an eyewitness account.
Yeah.
And it's all here in John's Gospel that you can have for free. And so we're reading. We've seen quite a few of the miraculous signs that Jesus has done, and now we're coming towards this kind of big chunk towards the end of John, where he's basically sitting with his disciples, and Jesus knows at this point that he hasn't got much longer with them. He's going to go to the cross soon. So it's almost like Jesus kind of telling them as much as he can before he goes to the cross. And you might want to follow it along. We're going to read from John chapter 14, which is the big numbers, and beginning at verse 7, which is the tiny, tiny numbers. And Jesus is saying to his disciples, "If you really know me, you'll know my Father as well. From now on you do know him and have seen him." Philip said, "Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us." Jesus answered, "Don't you know me, Philip, even after I've been among you such a long time? Anyone who's seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Don't you believe that I am in the Father, and that the Father is in me? The words I say to you, I don't speak on my own authority. Rather, it's the Father living in me who's doing his work. So Jesus is with his disciples, and he is wanting to let them know how they can have a relationship with God. And God is the one that they're referring to in this reading as the Father. And so Jesus is saying to them, look, because you know me, you'll know God. And Philip's like, hang on a minute. Well, how do we know God just because we know you? What, we don't really understand what's happening. What's going on? What are you saying? And Jesus says, actually, Philip, if you've seen me, then you have seen the Father, because the Father dwells in me and I dwell in him. And what Jesus is communicating in a way that's quite just astounding for the disciples as they sit there is that his relationship with God is inextricable. He says that I'm in the Father and the Father is in me. They are linked and they are inseparable. And Jesus is saying that if you've seen me, you've seen God. Now, one of the reasons that we are talking about mistaken identity tonight is that it's very easy to misunderstand God and to think that he is something that he's not. So you might like to just have a think. What comes to your mind when you think about God? If you were to just kind of quick kind of off the top of your head use words to describe God, what would they be? Or what would he look like? And what would his facial expression be as he looks at you? Would he be frowning? Would he be slightly kind of wagging the finger? Would he be just sitting there, kind of course, that's what Hannah's always like. Would he be aloof and just actually not interested at all? Would he be distant? Or would he be very controlling? Or would he be completely out of control? A lot of the things that I've just described are ways that are quite common to think about God. But Jesus challenges the disciples and says, look, if you've seen me, you have seen God. How amazing is that? If we've seen Jesus, we have actually seen God. And right at the beginning of John's Gospel, John makes it really clear that Jesus is God made known to us as humans. So God is to be understood in the person of Jesus. Whoever has seen Jesus has seen God. We've been looking over the last, are we on week 8 or week 9 now?
9.
We're on week 9. So we've been looking over the last 8 weeks at lots of the different signs that Jesus did and the miracles that he did. And I've jotted them down and looked at kind of what the kind of take-home message was that I preached on them, which isn't the only take-home message, I just want to say. But first of all, I don't know if you'll remember, you might be new, so you might not remember these, but for those who have been joining us, this is a reminder, a bit of revision, and for those who are new, I'm going to give you all the things anyway, so you can go and look back on them on YouTube if you like. So the first thing we looked at was Jesus turning water into wine, which is the most common joke you get as a vicar. People always expect you to turn water into wine. I haven't managed to do it yet. But Jesus turning water into wine. And so when Jesus turned water into wine, John, when he writes it down, says that Jesus revealed his glory in that moment. And the glory of Jesus right there is serving people. So Jesus serves people, and that is his glory. The second thing that we looked at was Jesus healing the official's son. And do you remember the official went away, went back to his house, which was a day's walk away, not knowing whether or not his son would be healed. but trusting Jesus's word. And Jesus kept his word. So the healing of the official's son showed that Jesus keeps his word. And then we've got the healing of the man at the pool. This man had been sitting there by the pool for, I think it's like 36 years or something. It was a long time. Anyway, he'd been at the pool, I can't remember the amount of time, a long time. And he'd never been able to go to be healed. And Jesus doesn't pass him by, but he points him out and he heals him. So Jesus doesn't pass the man by. And then we've got the feeding of the 5,000, which is probably one of the most popular miracles. Most people have heard of that. Jesus gives bread enough to satisfy everybody's needs. Jesus is enough to satisfy. And then we've got Jesus walking on water, and he walks 3 or 4 miles out to the disciples to be with them in their fear. Jesus goes to every effort to get to his friends. We've got the story of the man born blind. Jesus healed him. And that was a story not only of healing, but also of Jesus showing justice for the oppressed and speaking against those who were oppressing this man. And lastly, the story of Lazarus, who died and Jesus raised him from the dead. And that shows us very clearly that Jesus prefers life to death. All those things that we learn about Jesus, we can therefore apply them to God. So I just want to ask you, does it change your idea of God if I say this? God is a God whose glory is in serving others. God is a God who keeps his word. God doesn't pass us by when we're in need. He doesn't just walk past, but he comes to us when we are in need. God feeds us in a way that is enough to satisfy. God goes to every effort to get to us. God brings justice to the oppressed, and he shames those who are oppressing. God prefers life to death, and indeed he raises from the dead. Do you know God as a God who is powerful, who draws near to you, who rescues, who pursues, and who loves? This is the God that Jesus reveals to us. The God that Jesus reveals to us is good, he's loving, he's powerful. Most of all, he's got a heart which is for his creation. Jesus shows us that God didn't want to leave us alone as a lost cause, creation that was once beautiful and now became completely rebellious and not worth fighting for. Jesus shows us that God thinks that we are worth fighting for and that we are worth rescuing. And not only that, but that God has got the power to rescue us. And it's the power that raised Jesus from the dead. If God's got the power to overcome death, he's got the power to do anything in our lives. That's quite amazing, isn't it? I find it really amazing to think of God in that way. I guess for me personally, I never really thought of God as somebody who wanted to be always involved in my life. And so to have that relationship now and think of God in the same way as I look at Jesus is really amazing and quite powerful. Well, we're going to pray now. We'd love to pray for you. And I'm just really aware, I think we're both really aware that life is not easy at the moment. And for so many different reasons, your life might not be easy. And also that there are pressure points as well, things that were already there before lockdown and before coronavirus that are now just becoming more and more pressurized and more difficult. And I think in a way we are in a bit of a kind of boot camp at the moment, a character boot camp, where there's no way out except just to keep going. And as we keep going, we can work on our own hearts and our own characters, and we can grow as we go. So Johnny and I would love to pray for you, and just to pray for God's blessing, really.
Yeah, if you've got anything specific that you'd like prayer for, and you're happy to kind of share it, then do write it in the comment section and we can pray for you at the end. Or if it's something more personal, then send us a private message and we'll pray for you that way.
Yeah. And actually, just before we do pray, if you do feel that God is on the move in your life, and you will know if that's the case, you'll just have a feeling, you just think, oh, I'm thinking that God might be calling me. We'd love it if you get in touch, because we can just connect with you. And there's quite a few people at the moment who seem to be in that situation. So do just connect with us. You can email us at office@stjohnschool.org.uk, and we will respond as soon as we can. But let's pray. Come, Holy Spirit. We thank you that you're not confined by lockdown or walls, and that your heart is the heart of God for his people, for his creation. So we simply ask, Lord God, that you would draw near to people right now, that you would draw near in peace, in comfort, and perhaps for some people there might need to be a journey of healing. Lord, we pray for healing of hearts.
Yeah, Lord, we pray that for some people you'll reveal to them that you are good, that you bring only goodness, that you don't bring the pain or the anguish or the difficulty. And also that they may know you as Father, and with that, as a good Father, as a perfect Father.
Thank you, Lord. Oh, do you know, as Johnny said, we always would love to pray for you, as life goes on and things. So do always feel free to drop us an email or Facebook message, and we'll happily pray for you guys at any point. Great, we're going to have another song.
Yep, not ready.
And then after that, we'll catch up, because I think we might have some stories.
Oh, good. Yeah. Do you want to remind people of the story?
Oh, yeah, story. If you are joining us late, people are leaving stories, which, if you are joining us late, might feel quite random. But they are stories of mistaken identity. Have you ever had a case of mistaken identity? If you have, share it, and we'll go through some stories at the end.
Yeah. Great. Let's do it. Light streams from the Spirit that's in us. Hope meets a generation wanting more. It's time. step outside these walls, would you break our hearts for people as we take our stand for you? Let your light shine in darkness as we step outside these walls. Would you break our hearts for people as we take our stand for you? We'll shine brighter, even though darkness falls. We will shine brighter than the stars in the sky. We will shine brighter, even though darkness falls. We will shine brighter than the stars in the sky. Let your light shine in darkness as we step outside these walls. Would you break our hearts for people as we take our stand for you? As we take our stand for you. As we take our stand for you.
Woohoo! Let's have to do a little whoop.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of sometimes a bit awkward, really, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
what do you say?
well, you know, it's fine. I like a little whoop. Right. Should we read some stories?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Charlotte, it's a good one. It's
is
fun.
it?
Yeah, I've just read it. It's fun. Charlotte says, where I used to work as a teenager, one of the managers also had a daughter called Charlotte. The other manager's son rang the office one day and I answered, stating my name. He thought that I was the other manager's daughter and I was too embarrassed and shy to correct him. By the end of 15-minute conversation, I'd agreed to keep in touch more and to meet up for a coffee sometime in the future for a catch-up.
That's pretty good.
I fessed up to the managers after I put the phone down and they thought it was hilarious.
That is pretty good.
That's really funny, isn't
That's
it?
really
This
good.
poor guy. Can you imagine then the
He's
next
thinking,
time he
wow,
actually
I've
speaks
got
to
breakthrough
Charlotte?
with my sister. Finally. I don't know.
No, it's not his sister. It's the two different managers, I think.
Oh, right.
That like his one of the one of the sons of the managers and one of the daughters of the other manager. So this son, I think, is trying to like ask out the daughter of the other manager.
Gosh, I did not get that from that story.
I think. Anyway, maybe not. Maybe they're brother and sister.
Yeah,
Charlotte, I might have just confused things even more.
Yeah.
Maybe you
I
need to
feel like-
clarify.
I feel like we need like a diagram with
We need a family tree.
yeah, shall I
Need a
read the
family
next
tree.
one?
Yeah, you read the next one.
It's from Helen. I was mistaken for a staff member in Pound Structures once and asked if I could direct them to where the mugs were. I wouldn't mind, but I was pushing a pram at the time. Maybe it was bring your baby to work day.
Yeah. I love it though, because Helen, you probably just looked very kind of authoritative and confident in the shop. I sometimes do that, kind of nearly go up to someone and ask them, and then I think, oh no, they're a customer. Like particularly if people are wearing very similar clothes to the uniform of the shop. Anyway.
I never asked for help.
I hope it wasn't me. I don't think it was me. I don't think I would have been in the same pound stretcher, Helen. Amanda's resharing a story because it was so funny. The last time she shared it, she said, "Shall I share it again?" And I said yes. This is a really great story. If you didn't hear it last time. Amanda says, I was once in a restaurant coming back from the loo and someone stopped me and asked me for an extra gravy boat. I realised it was because I was dressed in black and white and I looked like I was in a waitress uniform. Being kind, I went and requested one for them.
So kind.
I
That is
just
kind.
love that. I
That is
think
kind.
it's the response, Amanda. That's such a gracious response.
Yeah, rather than just going, yes, of course, and then not telling them,
Yeah.
and then later on they're kind of like
Yeah.
annoyed.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant! I love it. You know what's going to happen? We'll all end the session and then we'll go and we'll think of loads of funny stories of mistaken identity. I feel like I've got about 4 or 5 of them and I can't think what they are. But yeah, actually, do you know what? By the way, if you are watching this and you're not watching it live, firstly, a massive hello. I was chatting to someone and they said that they don't watch it live because they like the Antiques Roadshow. And I think that's legitimate.
I think it's fair
I think
enough.
that's fair
Yeah.
enough. We like the Antiques Roadshow. So if you have watched the Antiques Roadshow and now you're watching this, hello. It's really great to have you with us. But also you can still comment and like and share because we will still check the comments and we'll still respond to them. So yeah, we're nearly done, aren't we?
Yeah, and just to say hello to Emma. I don't think
Yeah,
we said
hi
hello
Emma.
to Emma.
Good
but
to have
thank
you with us,
Thank
Emma. And again, if you do want free copy of Morning Star, Johnny's album EP, and John's Gospel, then just put Morning Star in the comments and we'll get those sent out to you. And even if you want one to pass on to someone else, we really don't mind at all. It's what we're here for. Good.
Great.
It's time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I feel sad. I always feel sad.
Let's make it quick then. Let's make it quick.
Yeah, let's make it quick. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.